What is up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Life's a Garden. I'm back from a 2-week-long hiatus, by far the longest stretch I've ever gone without posting an episode. We've had a couple of weeks here and there where I missed a week, and then we've had a few times where I've posted late, but never before have I missed 2 straight weeks. We are going to get into all of that. I will explain where I've been, what's been going on, why the long absence. But first, let's get into today's positive motivational message. And that is, never let your kindness interfere with your happiness. For so long on this podcast, and forever, and I still will to this day, I always promote be kind, do good things, do good deeds. Be a good person. And there is an extent to that. There's a level of that it becomes too much. And it's when it interferes with your life, when it interferes with your happiness, with your well-being. We can always go too far with anything. And being a good person, being nice, it's on that list as well. There is a level of good deeds we can do before it becomes detrimental to yourself. And so this week, that's what we're talking about. Never let your kindness interfere with your own personal happiness, your own personal well-being. Never let your kindness personally affect you. Being good should benefit you. It should be a positive in your life. It should be positive for one person and for yourself, whoever you're being good to, and it should make you feel good. You shouldn't have it where you're making somebody else happier, and then your happiness declines. Should never be that way. So that's the message this week. Let's roll in to today's episode. Finally going in to a brand new episode. It's episode 198 of Life's a Garden. Ooh, I missed that music. We are back. I am finally back. God, let's see if I even remember how to do this shit. It feels like it's been so long. For almost 4 years, I've been doing this thing week after week after week. And to go this long without posting, without recording, it was weird. It was really interesting. A little bit needed, but at the same time, weird. So many times I'd see things, I was like, oh, this is something I can talk about on the podcast this week. And then we never did a podcast. Yeah, it's been a weird month. Let's just say that. My life got put into an unusual position, I should say. Out of the ordinary. We'll say that. And let's just dive into it, I guess. That's what we do here. Like I said, I may have forgotten. I'm back from a 2-week sabbatical. We're back from sabbatical, and we're back doing it. Let me just dip my toes in the water, and we'll get rolling. It's going to be like riding a bike. So anyway, here's the lowdown, okay? So you may remember a couple weeks ago, a while back, I mentioned that I had taken upon myself a temporary roommate. Somewhat, I'll just refresh your memory if you don't remember. It was quite a ways ago. Acquaintance of mine from high school reached out to me, needed a place to stay, and I offered to take him in. And it was originally supposed to be for 2 weeks, and as things tend to happen, nothing ever is what it seems. And that time got extended a lot longer than I had anticipated. Now, before I really dive into everything, let me just say this. This dude did nothing wrong. I took it upon myself to allow him to stay here. I knew what I was getting into. None of my issues that happened with all this have to do with him personally. Has nothing to do with him. Like, he wasn't being a bad house guest. He wasn't doing things that were making me upset. Let's just say that. So none of this is on him. The main thing is, I'm a very private person. I am very, what's the word? Territorial, you could say. I've lived on my own for 7 years straight. I've lived alone in this very house 7 years straight. Never had a roommate. I've had some guests here and there, but never for a long extended period. The one other time I can think of is I had my mom stay here for, she was here for almost 2 months. And that also drove me nuts. And that's my mother, okay? It was definitely a little bit different because me and her have a relationship. She's my mom. And if this would have been a close friend of mine, probably would have been a little bit different as well. Didn't help that we didn't have a lot in common. I couldn't really, I didn't know him on a personal level. So it was hard to communicate. And that's the other big part of this, okay? That's the other huge part that goes into this. I'm really bad at communication. You know me, I will go out of my way to do a nice deed, but I cannot communicate to you if things need to change, right? So when he asks for an extended time, rather than be communicating to him, I don't know if I can handle that. I don't know if I want to do that. My kindness kicks in. And I have to be like, yeah, dude, you can stay for a little bit longer. And so that extended. And because of all these things, all these personal problems, these are all personal issues of mine that I have to deal with. My lack of communication, my privacy, my territorialism, the fact that, here's the thing. When I get off work, I just want to come home and chill sometimes. You know me, I like to go out, I like to have fun, I like to have a good time. But on those nights that I don't want to do that, I like to just relax, chill at home, do my thing. It didn't feel like I could do that while he was staying here. It's not like I felt like he was taking up my space, and it's not like I felt like... I'm sure he felt that I could tell him if he needed to leave, or if I was like, I need my living room space, I need this and that. But because of my lack of communication skills, I couldn't vocalize that to him. I didn't want to impose on him, even though he was staying in my home. It also doesn't help that I have a very small home. There's not a lot of space here to wiggle around. There's not a whole basement he could have chilled in, or I could have the whole upstairs. No, it's 4 fucking rooms in this house. And so it felt a little cramped at times, especially for me, who has lived here for 7 straight years. And like I said, I want to come home after work. I want to just chill. Sometimes you just want to chill at home. And like I said, I just felt like I couldn't necessarily do that the way I'm used to. My what do you call it? Routine had been disrupted. And due to all of that, it made me not want to be home very much. And so what I would end up doing is going out to the bars. Fortunately, we're in the middle of playoff basketball and playoff hockey. There's been a lot of sports going on. We had March Madness for a while there. So I would go out and watch sports and get fucked up every single night. That's a little bit of an overreaction, I would say. I didn't get fucked up every night, but I would go out and drink. I would sit in the bars. I would socialize with people. I would drink. And most nights, not all the nights, but a lot of the nights, I would come home late. Work would suck the next day. I still went into work. I'd either be hungover or tired or both. And like I said, I didn't get fucked up every night. I wasn't a complete mess. But there were some pretty rough times there. And like I said, this was happening every single night. So my ability to do the podcast just became almost impossible. Both because I didn't feel like I could even do it in this space, because this is where I do my podcast, right here in the middle of the living room. I felt like I couldn't do that. That I wasn't able to take up this space. It was shared space now. It wasn't just my space. It would be hard for me to have him leave or to ask him to do that. And then the other part of it is mentally, I just was not in a place where I felt I could properly do this show. In addition to that, timing-wise, this week would have been episode 200. And I wasn't sure if I could plan that well enough to do what I want to do for 200. So there was a lot of combinations of things as to why I wasn't able to do it the last few weeks. The main reason, and the number one thing, was my mental health took an absolute just drive into the dirt. Both just, and like I said, I'm not blaming him at all. I want to make that very clear. I put this burden onto myself. I didn't realize what it was going to do to me. It didn't help that what I had originally thought was going to be the amount of time he would be staying here ended up being much longer than what it was supposed to be, what we had agreed on originally. And so, therefore, like I said, it just, at first, the first couple weeks, it was fine. Everything seemed, it was chill. I was able, it almost felt like summer camp, right? It felt like summer camp. It was something a little different, something kind of fun. And then the fun wears off. And you're like, I want my space back. I need my place of living back. And that's when the downward spiral started for me. It's where I started just being like, I go to work, I come home, I shower, and I go out immediately. The amount of time I spent here the last couple of weeks, it was to sleep and shower and come here for lunch. That's all I did. Because once I was here, I was out the door immediately. Just because when I go out to socialize, when I'm home, I want to have peace and privacy. And so when I was here, when we were both here, I would just go to my room and lock myself in the room. That's not what I want for my life, you know what I mean? And so it just became a very gloomy scenario. It was not what I had intended for myself, for him, for any of us. It's not what I had envisioned when I had taken upon that task, that burden. And, I mean, I sincerely, currently, am on probably 21 straight days of drinking. So my mental health has been on the downward spiral. My physical health has been on the downward spiral. And so for those reasons, it made it very difficult for me to be able to even do this podcast, even if I had the space. I was not in the mental headspace. I didn't feel like getting up to do this. It was just no good. Fortunately, for you, for me, for everybody involved, he's gone. He found a place. He moved into his new place. Today, that happened. And tomorrow, I'm going on vacation. Which is kind of shitty in a way because I haven't had my house to myself for over a month. And now I'm going to go on vacation for 4 days. I'm not going to get to be in my home for 4 more days. I'll be staying at my cousin's house in Denver. However, it works out. This is the first day I feel like it's back to normal, back to routine. That's another thing. I'm just one of those creatures where if my routine gets disrupted, it fucks with my head. I get all blitzed out. And that is 100% why I'm single. This is why I could not have a relationship, because how could I ever share time and space with somebody if I can't even do it with somebody for a month? So I've got a lot of mental issues I gotta fucking work through. Clearly, didn't think they were that bad, and now they've all been exposed. So there we go. Nonetheless, we're going on vacation. Gonna take a breath of fresh air in the Mile High City. Gonna go have some fun. Going down, hanging out with my cousin. Going to Red Rocks to see one of my all-time favorite musicians, Maynard James Keenan. A couple of bands I've never seen before. I'm very excited about that. I'm going to an Avalanche hockey game to a playoff game, which we'll get into all that here in just a moment. But it'll be a nice relief. It'll be a nice, just something to get my mind away. And that's the thing. Here's the funny thing. I've gone out for, like I said, 21 straight days, something like that. I've been at least on 21 straight days of drinking. And now I'm going to go do it some more. Because but it's going to be for a better reason. It's not going to be for me trying to escape what's going on in my life. It's going to be for me to enjoy myself, have fun. And that's funny how that works. There are different levels of drinking. If you're drinking to just escape, to get away, to numb pain, to anything that's negative, all the negative reasons to drink, your headspace is in a different area and it makes you feel a different way. If you're drinking to have fun and you're having a good time and you're letting loose, it's a different headspace. You feel different when you're going through all that. And it's kind of interesting how that works. So that's going to be the case this time around. While I'm in Denver, I'll be drinking still. Not great for my physical health, but the mental side of it it'll be on the up and up. So we're good. And on that note, I think it's time to crack open a silver bullet because I'm thirsty. And cheers to you guys. Cheers to, I apologize to the listeners for being gone for so long and not saying anything. Thank you so much for sticking around, for hopefully viewing this episode, coming in, and if you missed out on the last couple weeks, if you're a longtime listener, thank you for sticking around, even though I just abandoned you out of nowhere. And cheers to things looking up, right? Here's to all things come back around. And ultimately, I'm not upset about any of this. I don't take any of it back because ultimately in the end, I still did a good thing. I still helped somebody out in their time of need, and karma will pay me back in the end. Somehow, some way, it'll come back. Good things happen to good people. Good things happen when you do good things. So I don't regret it. While maybe there were times I regretted it, now that it's all over, now that we've gone through it, I don't regret it. It is what it is. And karma will somehow pay me back in a positive way. So that's why we do good things. Cheers, guys. We got so much to catch up on, right? I got a whole list of things here I got to talk about. But before we dive into the things that we missed the last couple weeks, let's talk about some current shit going on. Like I said, I'm going down to Denver. My Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche are both in the playoffs. Now, I'm recording this just so everybody knows where we're at in this. I'm recording this a few days before, quite a ways before it comes out because I'm going to go on vacation. I won't have time to record it. So there's going to be a few extra games that happen by the time this comes out. Currently, the Denver Nuggets are up 2-0 against the Los Angeles Lakers in one of the most epic games I've ever watched ever. Y'all know, it's old news by now, by the time this comes out. But Jamal Murray hitting that fadeaway buzzer beater after being down by 20 points, the Nugs crawl back and win the game. That is one of the most epic things I've ever seen. Now, by the time this comes out, there will have been 2 more games. And I will get to see both of those in Denver. Not live, unfortunately, because they are in Los Angeles. And hopefully by the time this comes out, we've swept the Lakers. I don't necessarily foresee that happening, but here's the thing. The Lakers are playing much better basketball than the Nuggets are right now. And we're still winning. The Lakers are playing especially last game, they've been playing their best ball. Best might be a little bit of a stretch, but they're playing really good as opposed to how they normally play against Denver. They're playing pretty damn good. While the Nuggets aren't necessarily playing their best. And we've still beat them twice. So I expect to beat them in 5, I would say. I think a sweep isn't in the cards. I would absolutely love that if we swept them again. We're on 10 straight games beating these guys. So if we could make it 12, I'd be all for it. And then the Colorado Avalanche are 1-1 currently with the Winnipeg Jets, and I will be at Game 4 on Sunday. Well, when this comes out, it will have been yesterday that I went to the Avalanche Jets game. So hopefully we win that one. That'd be badass. I'm 2 rows up from the glass. It's going to be a awesome time. I was hoping I was going to be able to see either an Avs or Nuggets game while I was down there. Of course, the Nuggets are on the road. It'll be fine because I'll get to still watch the games in Denver. And then, got a whistle in my nose, driving me nuts. And then, the Avs, game 3 down there, the first home game, is the same night as our concert. Won't get to watch that. And then the last game is Sunday, the day I leave. Fortunately, it's at noon. So I will have time to see it, and then my flight doesn't leave till like 7 p.m. So it works out perfect. Gives me something to do during the day. It's all good, baby. It's all good. We're going to have a great time down there. Hopefully both the Avs and the Nuggets advance to the next round. And we'll have more playoff stuff to talk about. Nothing else really too crazy going on in the playoffs just yet. All the home teams have won, basically, except for last night. We had it's going to be old news by the time this comes out. The Mavericks had beaten the Clippers in LA, and then the who else had won on home court? Well, the Avalanche beat the Jets on the road. But who else? Who else did we? God, somebody else won last night too. The Bucks? Yes, it was the Pacers beat the Bucks. That's what it was. So we got a couple good, interesting series. We're not too deep in the playoffs yet, but as for my teams, very excited, looking good for both of them, and we got the NFL draft. So the NFL draft is coming up. I'm going to go down to the DNVR bar. I'm going to watch the draft and the Nuggets game. That'll be badass. And it's perfect because then my cousin he gets off work late, so I'll get to go do all that stuff he doesn't really care for. And then I'll go hang out with him. And then we got all day Friday, all day Saturday to just kick it, go to the concert. It's going to be a great time. I'm very excited. And the draft. Yeah, let's talk about the NFL draft. So there's a lot of talk. It's still pretty much the same. Denver just traded for Zach Wilson. Not a very exciting trade. Doesn't necessarily mean that we won't take a quarterback still. I expect us to take... The only way we're getting J.J. McCarthy is if we trade up. And the way we'd have to trade up is by trading Patrick Surtain, which I don't foresee happening because we just signed him to his 5th-year option. God. I don't see it happening. I don't see us trading for him or trading him away. And then we could take Bo Nix at 12. We could even trade back and still get Bo Nix, which I'm not opposed to. And then what else? Or we could just take the best player available. There's so many options. So I couldn't even tell you. I can't give you a prediction. If we don't go quarterback, I think we go defense, either a corner or a linebacker or a defensive end. We're going to go maybe a safety. Could be anywhere on the defense. But it's either going to be quarterback or defense in the first round. We'll see what happens. I'll be down there. Who knows? Maybe I'll be down in Denver when we draft our future franchise quarterback. We shall see. Yeah, a lot of good stuff going on in sports. Also, the Broncos just revealed some brand new uniforms. And I personally like them. There's been a lot of negativity online. A lot of people don't seem to like them. I think they're fine. I think they're a nice upgrade. I don't necessarily love the pattern in the numbers, but I love the number design. That's been my number one thing that I've hated about Bronco uniforms forever is the number design. I've always hated it with the circular shapes and stuff. Yeah, never been a fan of that. So, yeah, very excited for that. For the new uniforms. Like I said, a lot of negativity. I think they're great. Plus, we're bringing back the retros, the 1970 retros. With the powder blue and the orange, the creamsicle orange. Yeah, I'm super stoked about the new uniforms. So anybody out there that's dogging on them, eat a dick. Because I think they're great. Just my own personal preference. Now, let's play catch up. Let's go back. This is all going to be old news, but it's all stuff that I wanted to talk about over the last couple weeks, didn't get to, so we're going to play catch up right now, okay? UFC 300, my oh my, it delivered on every single level. Probably one of the greatest cards that I've ever seen in my life. My predictions were fairly good. I thought I did pretty good. I had Justin Gaethje winning. Max Holloway, dude, absolute animal. I love Max Holloway. I've never had anything against Max Holloway. He put Justin Gaethje out with 1 second left on the clock. It was one of the most spectacular knockouts. An amazing fight. Both guys won fight bonuses. Well deserved. By far, fight of the night. Which I also predicted. And who else did we? Oh, Alex Pereira got kicked in the cup. He gets kicked in the cup. The ref comes in to break him up, and Alex Pereira just nah, dude. Just let me do my business, and just fucking literally 5 seconds after getting kicked in the nuts, knocks Jamal Hill out, which I predicted. I predicted that Alex Pereira would win. Most of my predictions came true. I had a few wrong, but I think I was out of 14 fights. I think I got at least 10 right. I had Moicano right. I had Prohaska right. I had Zhang Weili right. I had a lot of them right. And it was a great fight night all around. Great card. Can't say enough about it. Very happy I got to see that and enjoy that. It delivered on all levels. And then we got the Conor announcement. So Conor is in fact coming back in June against Michael Chandler. It's going to be a great fight. Super, super excited about that. I think the card is pretty stacked on that one as well. Yeah, it's a good year for UFC. And the Mac is back, baby. The Mac is back. And the DAC is back here on the podcast. Had to throw that one in there. What else did we miss? We had a solar eclipse. There was this big solar eclipse that was going to pass through a lot of the United States. And all these people were freaking out about it. Super excited. People went and traveled to go see it. There were people crying, taking videos, taking pictures. And that's fine. I like that people enjoy natural phenomena like that. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. But it's not like you're never going to see one again. Shit, wasn't there just one 5 years ago? I've seen an eclipse in my life. I don't need to go and see another one. It's nothing to write home about. And it's they happen every 3 or 4 years. It's not that uncommon. But everybody was freaking out, acting like it was this once in a lifetime occurrence. No, this shit happens all the time. It's like I said, it's every 3 or 4 years that this shit happens. And then the other thing that was funny about it is there was, of course, as usual, in any scenario such as this, there's all these people coming out being like, this marks the end of the world. This is the official end. This is when the aliens are going to come out, or this is when the wars are going to start, and this is when blah, 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 is all this shit's going to happen. And why this time? Why didn't it happen the last eclipse? Why didn't it happen the eclipse before that? What are you talking about, dude? You sincerely thought, all these people were, thinking the end was nigh. This isn't the first eclipse, bro. They happen all the time. So it's just funny to me that everybody was flipping out. Cool that you got to see it. Cool that it happened. Does it really matter? Not really. So we move on. And guess what? The world didn't end. However, Iran did launch missiles at Israel. A very aggressive act. And not a great thing to happen because Iran and the Middle East in general, very volatile area. Plus, I think didn't France just declare Russia an enemy state or something like that? Yeah, we are very clearly approaching World War III. It's not even like an if it happens, it's a when. Now the whole Iran thing, it seems to be, based on everything I've looked into, it seems to be that it was basically not meant to be an actual attack, but that it was meant to kind of just look like they were doing something to retaliate, when in reality, they kind of told, it's like they kind of told Israel, hey, we have to at least save face here. We're going to send some drones, just so you know, shoot them down, but we got to make it look like we're retaliating in some way, and then we will just call it even. Because I guess Israel destroyed or they attacked a embassy, which killed some Iranian officials. I don't know exactly the whole details. So they had to retaliate, or else they'd look like pussies. But they didn't want the war. They don't want the conflict. So they're just like, we're going to send some drones, shoot them down, and then we'll just wash our hands of this, and we'll call it even. Well, Israel, I don't know if they have retaliated against that one yet, but it really seems like Israel is just bound and determined to fuck everything up. They're just bound and determined to just be like, well, we got the backing of the United States. Let's just go fuck around with everybody, and they'll have our backs. They're like the little brother. They're like the little brother that's just like, hey, watch this, and then goes and like smacks the girl's ass, and then points to his brother and be like, he did it. That's exactly what's going on here. It's like, now he has to deal with the consequences. So we're dealing with all of fucking Israel's consequences, that they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna fucking fight everybody, and then Big Brother will take care of it. No worries about it. Yeah, with everything going on between Taiwan and Israel and fucking Palestine, Ukraine, Russia, France, it's imminent, folks. I hate to say it. It is imminent. And maybe we need a war. Maybe we need a war to stop all the bullshit and stop being a bunch of pussies. We can get a bunch of new jobs going. Maybe that's what we need to bounce back, to get shit back to where it was, to where things aren't so, like, I'm not an advocate for war at all. I'm not saying that I want war. I'm not saying that it's a good thing that war could happen. I'm just saying it might pull our heads out of our ass a little bit. It might bring this country together a little bit, so we're not so divided. It might give us something to fight for and to compromise with and to come together on. And that's an insane thing to say. That's insane to even think that we're so far divided that it would take a world war to bring us together. That's just unbelievable to even think that that's where we're at right now. But it is. It's the truth. What else did we miss? OJ Simpson. The juice. He's loose in the afterlife now. The juice has passed away. Cancer, I believe it was. And legend. My God. I mean, in the terms of as far as a football player goes, he was a legendary football player. He's scored 2,000 yards on a 14-game season. That's pretty unbelievable. But then there's also the murders. And you can't convince me otherwise that he didn't do it. I'm almost now. Everything tells me he did. There's this whole theory that maybe his son did it, and he was covering, and he was like trying to just he was like, I will cover for you, son, and I'm not going to get convicted because the glove doesn't fit. But there's also a bunch of conspiracies as to why the glove didn't fit. Because he was on arthritis medicine. He stopped taking it, so his hand swelled up a little bit. Plus, he was wearing gloves while putting the glove on. Like, there was a lot of, like, shenanigans with that. But yeah, old OJ kicked the final bucket. So, everybody pour out a little bit of that orange juice. Pour one out for a homie. I'm sure Nicole Brown is waiting in heaven like, oh my God, here he's coming back. And don't forget Ron Goldman as well. He murdered both of those people, and I believe he cut one of their heads off. That's fucking insane. And then you already know he's pretty. He wrote a book called If I Did It. And then my favorite one of all is he said, I don't want to ever go back to California because I'm afraid the killer is still out there. What the fuck? What's up, Twitter world? There's so many stages of OJ. Oh, and by the way, I know a guy here in Billings whose father is like really good friends with OJ. He showed me pictures of him. He showed me pictures of him hanging out with him in Vegas. Isn't that crazy? Like this dude I know, his dad is like homies with the Juice. There are so many like crazy eras in the OJ saga. And we've reached the final chapter. Oh, OJ. I wasn't alive when the chase happened. I wasn't alive when the trial happened. I know it was a huge deal. It was a cultural thing. It was right after the race riots. So there was a whole there was a whole thing with race and culture and all this shit going on at that time. It was very significant. I don't remember any of it. Wasn't around, so I don't have an opinion about it. All I remember is, what's up, Twitter world? That's what I remember of OJ, and that's what I'll always remember of OJ. What else? An elephant got loose in the city of Butte, Montana. A rogue elephant escaped the circus and was running down the streets of Butte. Now, my only question here is, how the fuck did they differentiate the elephant from any of the people there? How could they tell that was an elephant and not just a resident of Butte? Oh, Butte people are fat. Butte people suck. Yeah, so that elephant's just trampling around. I wish that elephant would have went on a rampage and just destroyed that town. It probably was like, I'm going to destroy this town, but it looks like somebody already did. So, no need. I'm just going to go for a joyride. Luckily, he didn't step on any needles and just die that way. But I thought they were done. Honestly, I thought they were done with animals and circuses. Didn't they end that a couple of years ago? That all circuses were going to be done with using animals in their acts, but apparently not. And this elephant was like, "Fuck this shit! I'm getting out of here." Then he started running around Butte, and he said, "Get me back to the circus. This place is worse." He's roaming around Butte, and he's just like, you know what? I actually had it pretty good at the circus. I'm fine with it. Let me just take me back, get me out of wherever fucking shithole this is, and I'm good with the torture and the torment that the circus gives me. If I stay out here, it's going to be much worse. Fucking Butte. One of my absolute least favorite places in this state. What else? What else did we miss? Oh, the Siamese twins. The two-headed girl Siamese twins got married. And when I say that, I don't mean both of them. I mean one of them got married to a guy. And I have so many questions. How does that work? Because, like, I remember these Siamese twins, these girls, they were pretty popular for a while there. There was a big story about them, and because I don't have my phone on me. I can't even look it up. So, do they share? They share one body and two heads. Fucking, I'm gonna look this up because I have to know. This is crazy. Because Siamese twin girls. How do you spell Siamese? God, come on. When married. Abby. Yeah, okay. Oh, of course. Who would have guessed that they were on TLC? Speaking of sideshow circus acts, TLC just takes on all the freaks. We've already discussed this. Abby and Brittany. Okay. Are American conjoined twins. They are having two heads joined to one torso. And are highly symmetric for conjoined twins. Each has a heart, a stomach, a spine, a pair of lungs, and spinal cord. So but there's only two arms, right? So does one control this arm and one controls this arm? Do they now, like, how do they do the walking? Does one just use this leg and the other one uses this leg? Like, I'm so confused. Or do they both have control? Do they both have control of all the limbs? So, like, if she's trying to eat and the other one has to scratch her nose and, like what the... Do they get to turn on and off who gets to control the body? I have so many fucking questions about this. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the fact that one of the heads, got married. Not to get super graphic here, not to get super weird and raunchy. I don't imagine they have two pussies. And they already said in this article that they do, in fact, her and her husband do have sex. So, is that considered rape if the other twin isn't consenting to it? And also, do they just put like a pillow over her head? Do they just like how does that work? You know? I don't know. Maybe they do have two genitals. I don't know. Siamese twins are one of the most unusual things that happens in nature. It's weird. It's crazy. I don't understand it. And in this situation, it's really fucking weird. And you know who the weirdest one of them is? The dude. You know that dude is into some fucking crazy shit. Also, how do you get attracted to one of them? The other one's right there. So you're just chit-chatting with the one, and you're like, this is the girl I like. This is the one I like. Now her sister, she's always there. Dude, it's just a nightmare. What a nightmare scenario. Like, your sister-in-law's always around. And how shitty for the other sister. So she's married, she gets to be married, and the other sister's like, oh, I wasn't good enough? You had to be with this one? Like, what was wrong with me? And good luck with that other one getting married. She's like forever alone. Well, actually, she's not. Neither of them are never alone. They're always together. But she's forever alone in the love department. Also, could you imagine if she did get married? If the other twin got married, then there'd be two dudes sleeping in the same bed with the girl in the middle. And one of them would like they'd have sex with the one, and then the other one would, and they'd just be having sloppy seconds all the time. Bro, what dimension are we living in? This is not dimension A or whatever. This is some dimension X bullshit. Some crazy shit is going on here. Like I said, what if the other, because now you gotta imagine the other twin is like, well, I would like to get married. How would that work? How would that possibly work? And then you got gals out here can't even keep a straight relationship. But a Siamese twin got married. So not to ruin any of you ladies' day, what are y'all doing wrong? You're missing another head. A two-headed chick, a two-headed girl got married. And you can't find love. What does that say about you? I mean, I'm no one to talk, but I already expressed all my issues earlier. All my issues are up here. Maybe if I did have a second head, I could have one head that could think clearly and one that was full of anxiety and commitment issues and all that stuff. But unfortunately, I just have this one head. And then I got this head, which I think with a little too much. So it's all good stuff. Dude, that twin thing, that shit that boggles my mind. For real. Like, I'm just trying to picture, like, what would it be like to, and what if the other girl did have control of the body, and she just, like, starts, like, dude. That dude is the fucked up one. It's almost like you have to marry them both. Right? And what if the other girl hates him? What if the twin that's not married, what if she just absolutely hates this dude? And now you're just stuck with him forever. Bro. The whole sharing a body thing. That's the thing that just throws me off. The sharing of the body, yeah, that throws me off. Because if they were just like stuck at, you know, at the shoulder, if they both had like one arm and then two pairs of legs each, that would suck so bad too, though. I mean, at some point, Siamese twins usually get cut apart, but I think this was one of those scenarios where because they shared a body, they viably couldn't separate them. Where if you're conjoined at the shoulder, you could just cut you in half, and then you'd just be without an arm. I mean, they're a phenomenon. That's the thing. And of course, like I said, TLC would have jumped on that immediately. Oh, God. Oh, boy. That dude's fucked up. The whole situation's weird. But I can't stop thinking about it. Like, I can't get enough of it. Like I said. What do they just cover her up? Like, how rude. And then, like I said, if they both got married, watch, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, especially now that they're back in the news. Some freak is going to want to get on board with that. All right. What else has happened? The band wrote a new song. We have a new song that we have written. We're still kind of getting all the details in there and starting to get it all figured out, but it's officially written. So on our next show, we will be unveiling a brand new song. So that's pretty cool. And our next show, I guess I might as well just plug it, June 7th at Craft Local. So come check us out. And then the very next day, Andrew Miller, our guitar player, will be playing the national anthem for the Outlaws again, because that's another thing that we missed. Drew did the national anthem, killed it. It was amazing. I'm a little upset that the announcer did not even announce his name. They weren't like, and performing your national anthem, Andrew Miller. They do that for any sporting event I've ever been to. They've done that. They've said, performing your national anthem, so-and-so. And they didn't do it for our boy Drew. We were hoping that they might throw in, and performing your national anthem, the guitar player from Cutthroat, Andrew Miller. But even I would just have liked for them to give him credit for that. But he did do a great job. You can check out the performance on our Facebook page and our Instagram. We posted it on there. But yeah, he'll be performing it again, and we're going to be doing a tailgate party that day too. So look forward to that, and stay tuned. It's going to be all good shit. We got good stuff on the horizon. Some shows or a show coming up, at least for now. Probably some more down the pipeline. And yeah, just getting ready for vacation. Super excited to get back out there and for things to get back to normal. Really, that's all it is. That's all it's boiling down to for me. Just very excited for life to get back to normal. Because that's my problem, man. Like, I got stuck in such a routine. I got stuck in things being a certain way. And once that went away, once my routine got disrupted and things weren't how I'm used to, I apparently just had a fucking mental breakdown. And I was like, I can't handle this. I need to distance myself. I need to fucking escape from this. And I escaped using the booze and by diving into sports, which isn't a bad thing. I would go to friends' houses from time to time. I wasn't just going to the bars, but I wasn't here at home. I wasn't able to like clean things up, and I couldn't use my weight room, so my physical health definitely took an even bigger decline. Like I said, I'm out there eating fucking fried bar food and all that good stuff. Not being active. Well, I've been working my ass off. I really have. Been making some damn good hours at work. Work's been busy, so that's been good. So there are some positives here in the last couple weeks. But it's just been one of those things where it was difficult for me to actually get in here, do the podcast, both from a physical standpoint, from a mental standpoint, and from a spatial standpoint. So glad I could finally come back and do one. It's been great. Just like old times, right, guys? And I'm hoping next week, my plan for next week is to have a guest on. But if not, I will be right back here to fill you in on all the details of the trip. Hopefully I will have the guest on, and that'll be next week. And I'll save who it is. I'm just hoping. It's somebody I've been wanting to have on the show for a very long time. So I'm excited to hopefully have that opportunity to get him on here. And we're going to get back to getting some guests on here. We're going to get back to our normal routine. Life's going to get back to normal. And I'm very excited about that. And I hope you guys out there have been well. I hope everything's been going good with everybody out there. Nothing but positive energy, positive vibes. Just don't let... I'm just going to harken back to the original message today, which was, don't let your kindness interfere with your happiness. And be kind, do good things, be a good person, but don't let it become a detriment to you. Karma will pay you back somehow, some way, in the end. But just don't let it hinder you. Be a good person. But there is a level. There's a limit that all people can withstand. And so, for that, I thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry I was gone, but I'm glad to be back. And like I said, hopefully by next week, we will have a new guest. First time guest in a long time. So, looking forward to it. Thank you so much for listening. R.I.P. to OJ. Fuck the people of Butte, Montana. And how about them twins, huh? And twins! The old Coors Light commercial. Thank you so much for listening. Appreciate you guys. I promise I won't take another break like that for a while. Or at least I hope not. But until then, don't forget, life's a garden. Dig it.
Just gotta keep on.